Good morning, LinkedIn community, energy community, and more. Where I would normally start off with one of my wacky intros, today is a little bit different. And I would actually say, James, are you as humbled as I am today?
Man, it's a good day. We got a good show. We're kind of stealing today, Jim. We're stealing from a couple of things. We're going to steal, first of all, from one of our friends at Connections for Life over at Upscope.
Yep.
They always kind of do an intro like this where they,
Yep.
talk about an episode and then jump into it. The other thing we're going to steal is we did an awesome episode on Applied Consultants' second episode of their safety series called From the Trench.
Yep.
And so instead of this week, what we're going to do is do a little cross promotion and actually air that same episode on our show. But we thought we'd lead in this way. So
I think it's
a little
great.
bit different. So I love stealing all this stuff. It's so much easier.
It's much easier. And again, we were humbled that they asked us to be their second guest. And again, that we were the inspiration months and months and months ago from them watching Coffee with Jim and James. They actually came to us and said, do you guys give us your permission? We're like, we don't need permission.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, just being respectful, but they're great guys, great organization, outstanding organization. We've known them for years. So it's it's wonderful to see it happen.
Jim, you kind of hit on it, but the kind of byproduct that we didn't expect, that unexpected byproduct was that other people would be inspired and create shows kind of like ours. And so seeing that and hearing that from folks, I mean, what's any better, right? Just letting things continue to grow exponentially. The more eyes we can get on our industry and the folks that are, stuck at home trying to still make their sales quotas and still do those types of things and still network and build those relationships. We hope that more people create these conduits just like that. So
as what do I like to say? Connect the dots.
Connect the dots. So I guess, man, without further ado, let's just roll right into it. Let's
do it.
Amy, let's do magic right here.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of From the Trench. We're excited to have two really great guests with us today, which you probably heard about us talk about them on episode 1. Two good guys, two great friends of mine, Jim Shire and James Cross from Coffee with Jim and James. Guys, thank you so much for being here today and being a part of our second episode. And man, we're just excited for you guys to be here. How you guys doing?
Doing great today. Man,
yeah, for sure.
I dreamt about this all night. I barely slept.
We were talking about it when we were prepping for the show, how weird it's being on the other side.
Yeah.
So if we kind of flow in and out of characters, just bear with us.
Yeah.
If we start asking you questions, Dusty, just roll with
it. And that'll be okay. I'm not sure I'll give you the right answer, but I mean, it'll be okay. And it's funny because, like you said, you guys are usually on the other side. Y'all are hosting the show and asking questions. And we, like we talked about in our first episode, we came up with this idea and we're inspired because of you guys and what you did. And so kudos to both of you for coming up with that and helping us reach out and talk to our audience and our clients and our inspectors. So it's really been a good tool and a great asset for us. I guess right after the last time we saw each other was in February. I think James, Jim, we were all down at a conference down around the Galveston area, and man, right after that, kind of March Madness happened. I mean, the COVID hit, everything just shut down, and I think that's about the time you guys come up with Coffee with Jim and James, wasn't it?
That was, James. Let me jump in here because it's something near and dear to my heart. You're absolutely right. I mean, it was crazy at that point. We, everybody was traveling. The world was as we knew it type of things. And then I remember getting a phone call from James saying, "Hey, things look a little awry." And literally, like, Energy World, and as a company, we service customers in multiple countries. So we're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Portable. We're very, we're ready to go. And literally within 24 hours, we took, a headquarters and, put it out there. And it was very seamless, other than the normal things that happened that we all encounter now, bandwidth issues, or as I like to say, broad bandwidth. But anyways, no, but it's, you know, that was it. And then on a personal note, Coffee with Jim and James, that, you know, last, you know, decade of my life, I've been on the road nonstop. I mean, 25, 30 shows a year, half the year on the road. And literally within a couple of weeks, I'm in the corner shaking, saying, "What are we going to do?" And James says, hold on. I got this idea. I was at a establishment, wrote some things down on a bar napkin. He goes, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, me be on, you know, TV. That's what I call it. And James was like, "No, it'll be good." And it was great. It was a great release for us. It was almost therapy for us. We like to be in front of people. We like to talk to people. And it was a way for us to do that and really to bring some good stuff to the industry. And so that was really our function, was to, you know, keep in contact with folks, and to, you know, if we can share one thing that positively impacts one person that maybe shares it with another person, it's a great day. So
Absolutely. I want to add, just, he stole the words out of my mouth. I've used them multiple times. He just stole them. Is, you know, it is therapy. That's been the coolest part for a lot of people. Just seeing faces that they know and being able to just have a conversation. You know, you guys were on our show at the beginning, and it was really nice then, because it was really a shock that we all went through from one day to the next, and all of a sudden we didn't have that. So I think if nothing else, if it's brought, like Jim said, a couple smiles here and there from his corny intros, or, you know, we talk about Sharpen the Saw or Seven Habits or one of those things. We've gotten so much great feedback from people that, you know, during this time are using it to really, you know, up their skills and you know, focus on some of those soft skills and stuff like that, because what else are we doing?
Right.
You might as well, right? So that's been really awesome to see also.
Well, you know, like you mentioned, we were on one of your first episodes, and to pay tribute to you guys, I mean, look at there. So it is Coffee with Jim and James, and
An applied consultant.
right. Awesome.
This wasn't even product placement. I already had this. This is my travel mug.
There you go.
I would love to have one of those mugs. I'm just saying.
This
Jimmy, I use this mug every time I travel to the living room.
Okay. All right.
Every time.
Well, I will see, Jim, what I can do to get you one of those nice travel mugs.
Maybe you know a guy. Maybe you know a guy.
I know a guy. You know, James, as Jim talked about kind of what Energy WorldNet, you know, and Coffee with Jim and James, there's probably one or two people out there that maybe not have heard of Energy WorldNet. Can you kind of explain who you guys are and what you do?
Jim, I couldn't decide if that was a shot at me, because I'm, you know, essentially marketing does fall under the brand guy, right? So, you know, if someone doesn't know about it, then please don't judge me for it. But we've been servicing the industry, the natural gas industry, for 25, 30 years, you know, and we're really based on kind of a three-legged stool: compliance, technology, and education. Ultimately, we're training and qualifying folks out there on the pipeline, making sure they're in compliance, and ultimately, at the end of the day, empowering those people that have to run the reports and do the things and manage contractors and ensure all the boxes are checked and then some, right? We're there every step of the way, whether it be consulting or just the technology that holds it all together, or the awesome training that we can provide too. So that's the big part of it. Our vision is to make the world a safer place to work. And so that's what we're out there trying to do.
Awesome.
Can I just jump in? I just want to add one thing. I know that those pillars are three-legged stool, so to speak, but I want to make it a four-legged stool, because something that's very near and dear to, I would say, our heart, James, is my heart, is thought leadership. And it's a very interesting sentence, thought leadership, or words, but it's really getting out in the industry. You know, it's doing the presentations that we do in the past live, now they're virtual. Coffee with Jim and James, you know, we try to have fun. Yes, my wacky intros are, you designed to make people say, is this guy for real? But
I was going to say exhausting, but same thing.
they, for you, they are exhausting, but for me, it's fun. But if we can do things to have people think a little bit and about anything that they can improve in their life, again, the 7 habits to safety to whatever, that it makes us feel good in the morning, noon, night, before we go to bed, saying that we've done something positive today.
Right. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's just watching your guys' shows and knowing you guys personally and on a professional level and knowing what Energy World Net does. And it's just the information with the Coffee with Jim and James, the information that you guys bring to the followers and the listeners and in the LinkedIn world and everything else. So it's really been awesome. James, you guys just recently went through, I guess, a new branding, and if I remember right, you and I talking about this, and how did that come about? Because this is kind of your baby, correct?
Yeah, like it or not, it's my baby. Yeah, it's a great conversation that started when we went back and looked at it all. It went back really, really far, but officially really started at the end of last year, where we said, you know what, we're going to recommit to our user experience. And everybody said, oh, so this is a technology thing. We're going to, put a facelift on something. And I was like, well, not really. I mean, yes, but it's also at any touch point we have with a user, a client, potential client, industry. When we say a user experience, any person on either side that might be a user of any product or tool or service or anything, that we can impact that experience was our goal. And yeah, it was a new logo and a new colors and a new website and all those things, which are really important. But behind all of that really was a movement, both internally and externally, that we're putting across to be brave and to get out there and get involved and be a part of the conversation and just do good stuff in the industry and beyond, right? For our people that are a part of it, all of it. So I think I would love to say it's going well, Dusty. It's so awesome. It is. It's great. Energy's high, but we haven't even got to go show people yet. We're still stuck in our houses. It was a great internal movement. We're getting our ducks in a row. We're ready to go, but we hope 2021 will be the coming out party. We'll see, right? So it's going to be fun, man. It's been a blast, and Jim can probably see what it's like. Can probably talk a little bit on what it's like to, I'm the brand guy. What am I going to say, right? You're going, yeah. Of course, the brand guy's going to say the brand projects, the rebrand project's going well, but Jim can probably give you some insight from an industry guy. He's just a natural gas guy, Jim Shower.
I am. No, and that's a good point. And I'll tell you, James, I've been through a rebranding few in the past, and with some companies like CenterPoint Energy, up in Madagascar. I mean, it was a big thing. And at that point I was, like thousands of us, being fed the information, and it helped and everything. This one was a little bit different, being part of the whole brand team. I got to see the inner workings of what all this takes. And I have to tell you, it is exhausting just even to go back and think about it. I mean, James would be working till 2 a.m. The designers working till all hours of the night. And I always thought, oh, well, we're going to change the logo, we're good to go. And it's so much more than that. It opened my eyes. I mean, it really did. And I'm not a novice, but I am a natural gas guy. And so I usually think of, rebranding, new logo, we're done. 24 hours later, out the door. This was months, if not years of, thought leadership by James. And, he really is has been and is the visionary and driving force for that, along with, Coleman Sterling, our CEO, and Jeff Isbell, our president, and all the execs and et cetera. But, James is he's kind of that one where you just kind of look at and you're like, what's in James's mind? Where's he going with it?
My wife says that all the time.
Yeah. The
And
wheels
Jim.
are always turning.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks,
Oh,
thanks for making him look good, Jim.
Can you tell that I'm Jim's boss? No.
Yeah. So, all right, serious questions. All right, we kind of hit on it at the very beginning. With all the impacts of COVID and everything else that's happened, like we talked about, kind of starting in March, you know, Jim, where do you think our industry is heading as far as that goes?
in relation to COVID, let me
Yes,
let
sir.
me
Yes.
let me jump into that. One thing from my standpoint, and I'm being very blunt right now. Being a natural gas guy for decades, I lived by shaking hands, traveling, getting on planes, being with people, the whole bit. And all of a sudden, in a snap, we became into this virtual world. And again, I'm not a spring chicken, and some people use virtual worlds like easy as making a cup of coffee. For me, it was not. And I look at our industry that way too, that how well we had to be, as I say, baptism by fire. I mean, we had to get into this virtual world. I do think, hope, pray that we're going to come out of it and get back to some sort of hybrid normal, meaning that we're going to be safe, we're going to take precautions, that whole bit, and understand what happened in the past, what COVID was, so we avoid it in the future. But I think this whole virtual world being a hybrid kind of, married within it, as well as the in-person, put those two together, I think it's going to be better. So yeah, there's a lot of things that have happened during COVID that, have been challenges, but there's a lot of good opportunities that came about of it. And I think, we're going to come away with some great positives, so from the
Jim,
COVID aspect, that's how I
yeah.
feel.
I'm gonna take that another direction, Dusty, and
Yep.
because I know where a lot of people's hearts are right now, and that's, we just went through an election. We've been talking about we're talking about a new virtual world for a workforce that was already aging, that we've been talking about for years and years on how are we going to bridge that skills gap. And we're I guess what I want to tell, this goes back to thought leadership that Jim said, and what he just said about opportunity is, the good news is it's easy to play victim and to say, man, we're in for a rough few years. I get it. We're in it. We're still in it, right? But there's a part of thought leadership that is, I can be upset about what's going on, or I can go figure out how to affect some change, right? And so whether you realize it or not, there's a whole bunch of people behind the scenes of all this, sitting on committees, sitting on boards, and impacting what our industry is involved in, and what's happening from legislation. There are task forces and groups like the DCA that are putting together people for a better cause, and that's just some of what's going on right now. So when we talk about, man, what's going to happen in these next 4 years and beyond, I think you'll be really surprised how long we've been talking about these things. And I say I haven't even been here this long. But what I mean is, we collectively as an industry have been talking about these things for decades. They've been telling us that natural gas was going away, and that, and I get that now there's a little more motivation, but we also know the reality of what can't go away and how things will change. So I see it as a lot of opportunity. We were worried about a skills gap and how these new generations were going to come in. Well, guess what? We got a pandemic, and now everything went virtual. Now who's concerned, right? So I think we've been guided in this path, and by some really awesome people behind the scenes. And if you're not involved in it and you want to affect change, reach out. Let's get you on a committee somewhere. I promise you. And everybody chime in the comments of these things. If you're a part of committee looking for members, there's
Yeah.
a bunch of people that want to make change right now. Let's
Yep.
do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you bringing up the political aspect of it, because that is in everybody's mind and heart right now. Where are we going and what's going to happen? So I appreciate you bringing that up. And and Jim, is kind of, you mentioned, as far as the technology, when the COVID hit, kind of where we went with going to the Zoom meetings and things like that. We kind of talked about it on our first episode, and I know you guys have discussed it as well. Our life has changed so much from going out in the field and seeing our people and meetings and conferences and things like that, to having to learn how to do Zoom meetings and such like that. So it was, for an old dog, and I'm not extremely old, but for someone that's used to being in the field and not always being on the computer and doing these type of meetings, we've had to learn, and it's been challenging, but at the same time, it's been good. It's given us some wonderful opportunities to be able to reach out to a lot of different people.
I mean, look what we're doing right now,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Would you have ever, Dusty Flanagan, would you have ever in your life told me that this what you would have been doing in 2020?
No.
No.
I would have
Look
said
at us.
random drug testing if they brought that.
That's what I said.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, I'd said you're crazy.
No doubt.
Well,
It's a very awesome place that we're at. I pray that there, like Jim said, there's a hybrid that we're moving to, and we can steal the good from this and play cherries and pits with it and get the good parts and apply it to what was already working before, and man, have an awesome path forward.
absolutely.
That's what we're praying for.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, I've got one important question, and this is something I'm going to kind of steal from you guys. And please don't get mad, but I love it when you ask your guests this question. And I've always wanted to ask you. So, both of you, and Jim, we'll start with you, and then James will answer second. Guys, do you love what you do?
I could give the shortest answer that we had a guest on one time. We answer that, and usually people go on, and the guest goes, "Yeah, kind of do." No, I absolutely. Are you kidding me? Hopefully you can hear it and see it in me. I love it. I mean, I wake up. When you can wake up every morning and be like, "Wow, okay, we got this today. We got that today. We got this. Oh, we got to make sure that gets done." And then you go into bed at night and you're like, "Oh, wait, I just got to check one more thing." When you have that in your life, when you have that passion and that attachment, and again, it's such a great thing being with Energy World Net, such a great thing having Coffee Jim and James, having all the things that we do, being part of one of the best industries in my view in the world, the energy industry here in the United States. It absolutely thrills me. So do I love what I do? I can emphatically, without any reservation, say I absolutely do.
Awesome. James, what about you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I've only been in this industry for almost 5 years, just under 5 years.
Yep.
And it's a blink, man. It's one of those million years ago yesterday kind of things, So, but it's felt like home. I grew up in West Texas, so this isn't foreign to me. A lot of this stuff. You been to West Texas this week, Dusty?
Not this week. Last week I was there.
See, I mean, anybody who knows that knows the industry and grows up around it. I spent every year until I moved up here there. So it always felt like home to me, for sure. I think for the first time in my life, I'm getting to kind of just dream and ideate. And if somebody was trying to sell me Coffee with Jim and James on a napkin 10 months ago, I don't know that I would have bought it. So kudos to Jeff and Coleman for trusting me sometimes. But I think for the first time in my life, I've tried to do this, but really lead with my heart. And I hope in my actions, people are seeing the results and that kind of answers the question, for them. I try to just keep doing good things for the industry, and I think it'll take care of me if we can take care of it. So, man, I love it. I feel like I'm home.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can tell you, just from myself, from a personal standpoint, I can tell when talking to either one of you guys in person or on the phone that you absolutely do enjoy what you do and actually love what you do. Just the excitement in your voice, and always the advice that you give me when I have questions or need help and things like that. So you guys are absolutely super, and just keep doing the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
I want to sincerely thank both of you. I can't tell you how excited I was when I reached out to you and said, "Hey, we're getting ready for episode 2. Would you guys be willing to be a part of that?" And both of you just responded quickly and said, "Yes, we would be glad." So we were excited, and I was just absolutely delighted to have you guys here. So thank you so much again for being here, being a part of this. And James, remind me again. It takes a what? What's that key phrase that we always use?
Yeah, it takes a village.
Takes a
That's
village.
why we're here.
It does. It takes all of us to continue in this industry, to keep it going where it is, to keep everyone safe. And kind of our motto at Applied is, you just and I think about this, and people don't realize how important it is, but safety works when safety is applied, and not to throw us kind of a bone out there with Applied there, but it's a true meaning. Safety works when safety is applied. So we encourage everyone to work safe every day, and want them to know what the importance of that is.
Dusty, before you wrap this whole thing, I just wanted to thank you for letting us be on, and be a part of it, and be a part of, when you guys came up with this idea, and you reached out to us and were like, almost as if we had to give you permission. You didn't, but what I mean is being a part of the whole thing, and getting to use each other to bounce ideas off of. That's part of why we do everything we do. And you guys are doing an awesome thing at Applied, and the whole group over there. We're thankful to be a part of it, and thankful for you guys being clients also.
Well,
And
thank you.
Spreading the word. You're some of the best evangelists we have.
That's it.
Are on this call right now.
Absolutely. Well, guys, again, thank you for tuning in to our second episode from the trench. We greatly appreciate your past comments, questions, things like that, for tuning in. Highly encourage you to go to Coffee with Jim and James. Watch those guys, follow them, like them, share them as well. We just greatly appreciate everything that you guys in the field are doing, because if it wasn't for you guys, neither one of us would have a job. So for that, thank you. Stay safe. God bless, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Thank y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe.